Hello YouTube! I am Cloud Envy, coach of your jersey with Dwebbles, and welcome to the first week's prep for the PMC, and I have been looking forward to this so much. So, our first opponent is Infrared LP with the Pittsburg Steelix. And I am just so ready for this because I have been looking over his team for days and days and days and finally came up with something. And it's a little tricky, but as you'll see, we have a list of what I'm pretty sure is going to bring. I can definitely see the Mega Slowbro, the Landorus Therian, the Klefki, Scrafty, Electros, and Umbreon. Now, this prep was very difficult for me. Mainly because, obviously, I figured he was going to bring Scrafty. He picked it, excuse me, for his very first pick in the draft. And all that does is tell me that he's confident with it, he's comfortable with it, and he can use it well. And there's really no reason not to bring it then, because Scrafty does a lot to my team. Ice Punches Tangela, Iron Head Frostlass, Fire Punch Fortress. I'm sure it could take out Charybdis. Again, Ice Punch Zapdos. And Infernape's really my counter for it. So for Scrafty, pretty much, I just have to get there really hard with Gardevoir, or have Infernape come in and punch its face. Mega Slowbro speaks for itself. Really tanky, high special attack. There we go. Access to Calm Mind and Rest. No, I feel like Mega Slowbro is going to be a lot easier for me to deal with than Scrafty. And I'm going to explain why in a couple minutes. Now, Klefki. One thing about Infrared's team really stands out to me, and that's that he has 0 hazard removal. Except Klefki, who can use Magic Coat. So I'm looking at his team, and my original thought process was just to stack all my hazards up and spam things like Roar, Circle Throw, Whirlwind. I thought about it and I'm thinking, no, this has to be too easy. It's gotta be too easy. Klefki can learn Magic Guard. Or Magic Coat. I cannot get that right the first time. But I really don't want to take the chance that his Klefki's bouncing back all my hazards. So I decided to cool off a little bit with the hazard removal and stop trying to get so, I guess, hazard aggressive. I completely lost my train of thought. Landorus T speaks for itself. It's fast. You give it a Scarf. You can give it a Band, Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Intimidate. There's no reason to not bring Landorus T on 99% of teams. Electros is a fucking monster. My team cannot deal with an Electros. Like, just in general, man. It just rips me apart. His move pool is so wide, and it's got such powerful offensive stats that I have a lot of trouble dealing with this thing. And it's a big concern of mine, because the only way I can prep for it, the only way, I don't know if I want to spoil that, because he might watch this, and we might rematch. There is a way I can get around Electros, but that's for another day. But Electros has a very wide move pool, it's got very good offensive stats, slap an Assault Vest on it, I cannot break through. I have to rely on my Stealth Rocks. Either that, or hope he's not running. No, even then, I'll just switch out. There's really not a whole lot I can do except for run Stealth Rocks and hope for a crit. Now, the last one we have selected is Umbreon. Umbreon's really only there because I couldn't think of anything else he'd realistically bring. I feel like Ambipom is a good thought, but it's not necessary because, well, in my thought process, he'd have Lando T and he'd have Scrafty. You don't need Umbreon or Ambipom at that point. Same with Heracross. I put Heracross under the same that's the wrong word, under the same category, because Scrafty and Landy, you don't need a Heracross on the same team. Vileplume, I wanted to plan for, strictly because it gets rid of Toxic Spikes. And I understand, Toxic Spikes are really only touching half the team. Or half the team I have planned anyway. But at the same time, you don't want your mons to get poisoned. So I really expect him to bring, Vileplume. Well, as a maybe. For those of you who don't know how I prep, I like to take 6 out of the list, and then 2 or 3 more just to kind of vary it out, so I'm not just like, oh man, he didn't bring the specific 6 I wanted. No, I gotta be prepared for everything. I don't see a reason for him to bring Gastrodon. Doesn't make sense to me. It's too easy for me to stack grass attacks on, or hidden power grass on things, and my team has a pretty wide range of grass moves. And then you'll see in just a minute the 6 I brought. And Vivillon, even less of a reason, Stealth Rocks. I don't think it can learn Sleep Powder, unless I'm thinking of another move it can't learn. I don't remember. There was always that one argument, because I prefer Butterfree over Vivillon, and there was one specific attack that I can't remember that Butterfree learned that Vivillon can't. But that's a totally different story. So let's get on to this. We are gonna start with the first mon I planned to bring against this team. The very first one. The one I looked down my list and said, I want that. Ragamuffin. I know, right? Out of all 12, I decide Tangela is the first one that should come. Tangela stops Landy. And it stops Mega Slowbro. And it stops Scrafty. I had to. Basically, Ragamuffin set up with a very, very strong defensive stat. We got the EV light on it. It's modest, not bold, modest. Just to give our special attack that extra oomph. Mainly because I want to take Mega Slowbro down in one hit. I want it dead in one hit. Landorus is... we can wall it. We can't hurt it that badly, but we can wall it and chip it down. And that's all I ask out of Ragamuffin. Scrafty's a little different. Scrafty and Slowbro, you must have noticed the move pool already. We have Leaf Storm, Leech Seed, Giga Drain, and Power Swap. Power Swap is there in case Mega Slowbro has already started setting up, or Scrafty's already started setting up. And I really, really want to make sure that I gain Mega Slowbro's special attack boost, or Scrafty loses its physical attack boost. Also, hitting Leaf Storm and then going for a Power Swap, say goodbye to your special attack, because I'm going for another Leaf Storm. I've used this Tangela a lot in the past, and it really, really gets there. And I just love Tangela. Tangela's really good mon. It is toxic bait for Umbreon. Electros can kind of have its way with it. And Klefki can set up on it really well. So I have to be careful. But it can wall Scrafty, can wall Glanders, and it can one-shot Slowking so long as I hit that Leaf Storm. But Tangela kind of speaks for itself in that sense. There's not really much else to it. It's just a Leaf Storm that's going to knock you down. Next, we got Frank. Now, God of War approached me the other day, and she said, hey, look, like, I'm not comfortable being associated with this Rule 32. And I said, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, everyone looks at me in that sense, and my name is fan service. I'm not comfortable with that. And I said, alright, God of War, alright. I understand what you mean. What would you prefer? And she looked me dead in the eyes and said, call me Frank. Frank the God of War, ladies and gentlemen. Frank the God of War rocking that Moonblast, Energy Ball, Psyshock, and Destiny Bond. We've got a nice trace on it. We've got a nice life orb. A lot of HP investment, max special attack modest, and 8 speed. Now, God of War is naturally slow. So, we gave it just enough speed just to outspeed his mons who might be trying to speed creep. Now, since even though God of War is so slow, it still outspeeds a lot of his team. Mega slow, bro. Klefki has Prankster, so I'm not even gonna worry about that one. But Mega slow, bro, Scrafty, Electros, and Umbreon. Now, Energy Ball is not gonna kill Mega Slowbro, but it will kill after spikes. I don't expect Gardevoir to live an attack from Landorus, so I have not tried to factor that. I don't expect to put Gardevoir against Klefki. Scrafty gets O-Code. Electros just does a monster amount of damage. We can deal a lot back, but I really am not interested in sacking my Gardevoir because I need it for Scrafty. And Umbreon doesn't die from Moonblast, but it dies after spikes from it. So Gardevoir's really just going to get in there and hit really hard. We've got Psyshock for the possible Vileplume and Heracross. Gotta be prepared. And I really just didn't have another move to fill a slot with. I was thinking about Will-O-Wisp, but Shedskin Scrafty. And Landy will probably kill us. So Frank's going to get in there. He's got a ton of HP. Don't need the speed investment. Just figure, you know what? Let's just reinforce. So Frank's looking like a winner. He's going to get in there. He's going to pound some stuff out, wearing his nice dress. Next on the list, we've got Bruce Willis, the Unbreakable Fortress. Now, this is extremely... It's a fortress. Like, what do you want me to say? It's got HP. It's got defense. It's got spikes, Volt Switch, Rapid Spin, Toxic Spikes. Originally, it was supposed to have one more special defense. I guess when Osseo genned it, he left 4 in speed. It's not something I'm worried about. I mean, it's 1 point. It doesn't make a difference. But I just wanted to clarify why it has 1 speed and not special defense. But obviously we have to have the Custop Berry, because I'm not missing out on a layer of mass spikes, because Fortress don't want to move. But Fortress can wall Landorus pretty well. Fortress can suck up Klefki's T-Wave. Fortress can... I don't know if it can wall Scrafty. If he has Fire Punch, we probably die. We're still eating a lot from a Drain Punch if he's boosted already. Electros is killing Fortress. We can set up on Umbreon, because Umbreon can't Toxic. And, oh, I forgot to mention, Zero Attack IV. Zero Attack IV. Zero Attack IV. I am not getting Foul Played. Fortress is going to get hit really hard by the Heracross. And, again, we can just set up on Vileplume. So it's really just a matter of knowing what to set hazards on and what to stay away from. But it's a fortress. There's nothing to it. Next, we've got Charybdis, the Swampert. Charybdis, he's running Damp, just because I don't want to take the chance that his Lando explodes. I don't want him exploding a Sky Tiger. But we've got a pretty awkward set. We have Roar, Stealth Rock, Ice Punch, and Earthquake with 196 HP, 196 Adamant Attack, and 116 Defense. Mainly because Swampert's really one of the only mons I have that can kill Klefki without feeling some type of status ailment afterwards. And we can Ice Punch Landy. Unfortunately, after the Intimidate, it's not going to kill. Cannot touch Slowbro, but we can Roar it away. We can Roar Scrafty away. I think it needs like +3 to really kill, so that won't be too bad. Electros will kill Swampert, just like the rest of my team. I hate this thing. I hate it. Umbreon can Foul Play, it can Toxic, it can Umbreon, but again, we can Roar it. It's really just about getting Stealth Rock on here and freeing up a move slot for Fortress. Because Vileplume will also kill it, because Ice Punch won't kill Vileplume. If he does decide to bring Vivillon, Ice Punch will kill it. If he decides to bring Ambipom, Earthquake will kill it. It's a Swampert. There's not much else to it. He's damp. He's my damp dude. My Tribjus, my Whirlpool. Greek mythology and whatnot. Next, we got Stormcaller. We got a weird Stormcaller. Now, as you see, he's got a Choice Scarf. The way I figure it, Landy's as fast as Mon. Landy T is usually scarfed. If I want to be faster than Landy T, I gotta Scarf Zapdos. But luckily, we can do that without having to max speed out. We got 192 Naive Nature. And, yeah, it's level 70. I've set it to what I needed them Gen 2, if that makes sense. But we're going in there as Mixed Attacker, 120 investment in attack, 196 in special attack. Mainly because I need that Hidden Power Ice for Landy. I need it. Like, I need Hidden Power Ice for Landorus. There's nothing else I can do to it. U-turn basically just so I can pivot without having to worry about hitting a ground type. I don't want it to turn into, I'm going to use Volt Switch, and then switch into, oh, Landy, oh, Gastrodon, and Zapdos has to sit there thinking, well, what do I do because I'm scarfed? That is a big, big way to reveal your scarf early on, and that's not something I want to do. So I'd rather just have U-turn, get it off against the ground type, and keep him in the dark. Because if you're stuck in that situation and you don't use another attack, you're a little screwed. Not screwed, but they're going to know you scarfed. And I don't want that. We have Hidden Power Ice. Again, mainly for Landorus. We have the U-turn mainly for Landorus and Gastrodon. Thunderbolt, because you need that strong stab. You need the strong stab, and it does like 80% to Mega Slowbro. It'll kill Vivillon if he decides to bring it. It'll kill Ambipom if he decides to bring it. And we have Drill Peck. Now, Drill Peck is another main reason we made it a Mixed Zapdos, because if he brings Vileplume and Heracross, well, Vileplume or Heracross, Drill Peck will one-shot both of them. Heat Wave won't one-shot either. Plus, Drill Peck can also hit Scrafty, I think for 50 to 60%, barring whether it's bulk up or not. But I think Stormcaller is going to be promising a little weird. It'll also help if I need to switch into a predicted T-Wave. I can also eat a Scald from Slowbro if I need to switch in real quick and Tangela's not around. Plus, I don't know. I don't know if I can fake it out as defensive because it doesn't have any invested defenses, but I'd like to try to. Last but not least, we've got Red Rocket, the Infernape, my boy from DPPT. He's rocking the Lumberry. And I'm going to tell you why in just 1 minute. We got Flare Blitz, Grass Knot, Close Combat, and Mach Punch. 96 investment in attack, 156 in special attack, and 252 naive speed. Now, I'm short 4 points. Again, I don't know what happened with it. When it got Gen, it had 136. With the XM4, it's got 137. Again, it really doesn't matter all that much. Not something I'm bothered by, but I'm just explaining why there's a remaining force in there. But Infernape is really, really important to the team, because he's my cleanup. Grass Knot can deal about 50 to 60 points to Mega Slowbro. We can't really hurt Landorus. I think the most we can do is 30%. Flare Blitz will completely one-shot Klefki. That's the entire reason we have the Lumberry. Close Combat can take out Scrafty. Close Combat can take out Umbreon. Flare Blitz, I think it'll do about 90% to Vileplume. So after Spike's damage is dead. And it kills Heracross. Plus we have Mach Punch, Close Combat for Ambipom. So Infernape's really just my cleanup hitter. If he decides to bring Gastrodon, we have Grass Knot. I didn't calculate. I think if it does 50 to 60 for Slowbro, I'm forced to assume Gastrodon is much lighter, so it should do about the same. Barring it's lighter with lower special defense. But Infernape's my cleanup hitter. I really need to be careful if he brings Umbreon. that Infernip doesn't take a toxic, because it's really important that we use the Lumberry for Klefki, because if Infernip's paralyzed, he's my main weapon. Infernip is what's here to kill most of his team. But, oh, alright guys, looks like I'm about to have this battle, and that's just in time too, because we have just finished here. So, Cloud Village, wish me luck. I will be back tomorrow. Well, you're going to see the battle Sunday. So, until then, I will see you next time. Stay frosty.